Okay, Dr. Lotus, what do you think about Christ was born without father, virgin, pregnant, and both? What do you think about that one?
I think modern people will not believe it.
Yes.
I think, like you also showed me the book, this very famous author, he was a famous writer called
Arnold
Toynbee,
yeah.
right? Toynbee. He was famous for his writing about history.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people consider him, presenting the history in a very rational way, scientific way, because modern people believe in science. All the education of modern people are based upon the notion that if we, cannot prove something to be true, we shall not believe it. And how to prove it? It's through rational experimentation and the dissection of the world phenomena. So modern science right now very much emphasize things that, especially in the spiritual world. For example, when we ask the question, what's the origin of human being? And modern science prefer to choose the theory of Darwin. They think that Darwin's theory sort of makes sense. They think that's more rational to talk about man actually is evolved from inorganic to organic, from low species to high species, from aquatic animal to land animal, from land animal to climb on the tree, come back, and the tail drop off and stand up and become man. So this whole theory about the origin of man, because as human beings we all want to know where we're from, where we are from, right? So the children are being taught that we are from evolution, from animal, and we are part of the animal kingdom. Okay. However, this go directly against another school of understanding of the origin of man. Okay. Another school of understanding of the origin of the man, as a matter of fact, is has been passed on through all different race. African people, the yellow race, the Chinese, Korean and Japanese, this is yellow skin. The yellow skin, the white skin, right? The red skin, the black skin, the gray skin, whatever. So the different race with different skin colors. And so, if you go to their traditional saying, if you go to their history book, all races, if you follow the history book, it eventually all ended up, from myth, myth. So myth is something that modern science can never prove or disprove. Modern science, no matter how hard you try to study, because it happened way too long ago, and you want to study what happened a long time ago, you're going to have to base upon archaeological discoveries. So when people use modern science ideology to study the origin of man, and they dig and they find artifacts, historical artifacts, and then they study what's the origin of man, interestingly, evidence are found to indicate that the myth is scientific. It's not fairy tale. Even including the story of Noah's Ark. In the Bible says there was once upon a time the people on the earth, man become corrupt. God says flood. And only one man and his family were favored by God because that man is Noah. He always listened to God. So God allowed him to know the truth and told him to build a huge boat, a ship. It's called Noah's Ark. And eventually when the flood came, Noah and his people and all the animals, male and female in pairs, saved. And then when the flood left, those were the seeds of the new cycle of human civilization. So before the discovery of the Noah's Ark artifact, entire world all consider it's just a myth. It's just a fake story. But people found the huge ark, okay, in the news. This is only one example. So about many other myths, especially Chinese myth. Right now in Chinese culture have left a lot of incredibly metaphysical science. Metaphysical is considered by modern science to be superstitious and a fake pseudoscience. But those science always concerns about origin of man and about the history. Long time ago, thousands of years ago, okay, or even prehistorical time. So currently, following the rational mind of modern science, through very careful investigation of good scientists, we're starting to see the signs of religion, signs of spirituality, signs of myth. I just want you to know that science, modern science, although it is very limited because it only focuses upon things that are visible, tangible, and then when the scientists can see it, can touch it, then the scientists will dissect it and try to understand what happens. And then we learn the law of nature. But based upon this kind of rational approach, we eventually start to recognize that many things before science come to today, before early stage of science, people think if we have a phone talk, hey, where are you? I'm in China, in Shanghai. Do you know if science hasn't reached to today, if we talk to people at the Qing dynasty that this can happen, they will consider that superstitious. So many things that people will consider to be superstitious and impossible actually doesn't mean that it's true. Okay, so come back to your question about Virgin Mary story. Virgin Mary, right? So according to the Bible, this beautiful lady Mary, she was not married, no husband. However, she became pregnant, and she gave birth to this great man called Jesus, right? But in the Bible, it did describe about a man in Mary's life. That's Joseph.
Yeah.
Joseph married her after she was pregnant. Okay, so if you ask me, what do you think about whether Jesus truly had no human father, whether Jesus' father truly is the God, whether Jesus truly is the Son of God, okay? Whether God actually used magical power to help the Virgin Mary to become pregnant. Is it possible? You can ask me scientifically, is it possible? Okay, you can ask me whether scientifically it's possible. I will tell you 100% it's possible. 100%. I'm not answering you in the way of whether it's like the whole question is about this. Did Mary, when she was pregnant, well, we all know, based upon the modern science, because I am a modern science researcher. I'm a frontier modern life science researcher. I also have been studying the entire formation of the human body. So I know that for a baby to be formed in mom's womb, it requires the mother has an egg. And then there has to be a sperm. Because mom's egg has a set of genes, chromosome, and it's only one set. So for a baby to be formed, it requires two cells. One is in the form of egg, the other is in the form of sperm to fuse. Two become one. Then it will be able to develop the beautiful baby. That's what I study. The whole question is that Mary certainly has an egg. No doubt about it. She's a woman. Every month she will produce a mature egg in her body as a human being, as like a mother. If she will become a mother, if, let's say she's just a mother-to-be lady. So in her uterus, in her ovary, where the egg is formed, right? That particular month, she definitely had an egg, okay? Now the whole question is where the sperm comes from. If she is not married, if she's a virgin, which means there was no human man, no human male that deliver a sperm into her system to be able to activate the egg she has. The whole question is really about, is it possible that God, which means the higher power in the universe, does the high power in the universe has the ability to form an egg, form a sperm in situ? What means in situ, the scientific term is that from creation. Can God create a sperm? Okay? That's all there is. The question about, is it possible for a high power in the universe who has the ability and energy and wisdom and magic to be able to create a sperm, manifest in the human world as a magical sperm? Is it possible, if you ask me, is it possible for a life in the universe who has this incredible energy and wisdom and power to gather in the human world, use the molecular particles to form a sperm, and then allow that sperm to manifest directly in Mary's body and to fertilize Mary's egg, and to turn Mary's egg into a fertilized egg and allow that egg to turn into a beautiful baby called Jesus? If you ask me, is it possible? Use all the theories of modern physics, okay? Modern physics, quantum mechanics, okay? I'm telling you that it's totally possible.
You mean without father?
Absolutely, without father. Now, father, right? Father, why? Do you know why a woman needs a father to be pregnant? It's because the father's body produces sperm.
Yeah.
So it's not about whether she has a man or not. Basically, the only fundamental question scientifically is to challenge whether that sperm can come from not a man, but can be from God. That's all there is, okay? What I'm saying is that it's totally possible, because if we recognize that God can create a human being from microcosmic particle to bigger particle to all the way to the molecular particle and the form of human body, why God cannot even form a sperm? It's totally easy for God to just form a sperm on site. No problem at all. Creation, right? This again comes to the fundamental question about creation. Right now, modern science says, no seeing, no believing. If we cannot dissect, if we cannot study, if we cannot prove it's true, we cannot believe it. But many things you cannot prove, but they already exist. Okay, my spirit. Can you dissect my spirit? Can modern science dissect my spirit? Can modern science see my spirit? Can modern science understand the origin of my spirit? Never ever modern science will understand who I am, why I can speak like that, what it is in my mind. This is the thing. You and many people and this philosopher, no matter how famous they are, they say science. We only believe in science. Science, if now it's already science. We have science is so advanced, and if we hear people say, God. According to science, there is no God. Because scientists can never prove the existence of God. But we all know, in my personal life, I experienced high spirits who are invisible to me, but I've been guided. In terms of pregnancy, I'm a mother. I gave birth to 2 children, and I know how pregnancy can occur. And I also, in my own spiritual experience, I actually know that even me, in my second pregnancy, during my second pregnancy, my daughter, the amazing thing that happened to me is no ordinary. Okay, I met Brian in like early spring, April. Okay, I met him on the street. Okay, you know, I was subject of persecution by the Chinese government. Chinese government, through my own parents and brother, labeled me to be mentally ill and tried to ship me back from New York, and they want to ship me all the way back to China and hand me to the Chinese government's hand. I was in great danger. And Brian, he suddenly, you know, showed up in my apartment and wrapped up everything I had, and he took me back to his home. He said that God gave him the message that I'm his wife, sent by God. He considered me to be the wife sent by God, because he prays to God, you know? He talks to God. God, give me a wife. Give me a good wife, okay? So he saw me and he considered that I'm the wife that God sent to him. So he brought me back to his home. Okay. Usually women get pregnant. Very not an easy thing. It doesn't mean when you have a man and a woman, you have a physical, you know, male-female interaction, and then the sperm goes into the woman's body, and then the egg was there, and then fertilized, and the baby will be born. If it's so easy, then why there are so many women who are married for 10 years, 20 years, they have this, attempts to get pregnant, 10 years, 20 years cannot get pregnant. They have beautiful egg, no problem. They have beautiful sperm, no problem. They had, marriage together, every night sleep together, 10 years, no baby. I'm telling you science, the way science understand, about pregnancy, there are way too many mysteries that science cannot answer. Right now, modern science cannot answer. What really made certain people cannot pregnant? What makes people pregnant so fast? What is really going on? Is it a mere randomness? Oh, you have the film, the sperm goes into the along the passage and are competing with each other, and whoever goes the first and hit the egg will be the one that fertilizes the egg. It's all imagination. It's not scientific. It's all theory, just like Darwin's evolution theory, okay? No ultimate proof about what is a mystery, mysteriously how the woman can be pregnant and eventually have a baby. Not that simple at all. Then you also say, oh, what do you mean not that simple at all? Right now you have like in vitro fertilization. You can take the egg out, you can take the sperm out, you can put it into the test tube, you can mix them together, and then you will be able to form a baby, right? It's called in vitro fertilization. We never really investigated into all the things that happened during in vitro fertilization. I saw some films about it. I'm telling you, modern people are blind. They are so blind. They think that they know what they are doing, but spiritually, they have no idea the mysteries of life. I met Brian so fast, mysteriously taken back by him, and immediately was pregnant. Immediately pregnant. And so, this is the whole process about pregnancy. I wouldn't be able to tell into details today, but I'm just telling you, even through my own personal experience, I totally understand what means virgin. pregnancy. Even during my experience of being pregnant, on the surface I had a man who gave me the sperm on the surface, okay? But I also experienced spiritual power. And that was vivid, very vivid spiritual interaction with me throughout my pregnancy. Okay, so to me, when I read the Bible again and talk about the Virgin, Mary and the pregnancy and the birth of Jesus Christ, I have no doubt that Mary had a spiritual experience with God. She may have a man like Joseph to give her sperm, or she may not have Joseph's sperm, but actually God could directly deliver her sperm. Totally possible. That's in my heart as a frontier modern life scientist. I did all the research with all my rational mind as a true scientist. I want to tell you that it's totally possible. So if this guy at 7 years old, when he heard, oh, Virgin Mary didn't have a husband, but she was pregnant, oh, no. Christianity is not believable. I will never follow Christianity. That is because this little boy at 7 years old were already watching too many modern teachings of the modern world, of modern science, and made him believe that a woman without a man cannot be pregnant. At 7 years old, how could he understand how a woman is pregnant? How could he, at that time, immediately believe that the Virgin Mary story is fake? It's because his brain is already preoccupied by notions of modern science. He must already be given a lot of notions by other people say, when a woman needs to be pregnant, she needs to sleep with a man and have sex. And then the man will deliver the sperm, and the sperm will enter the woman's body, and then she will be able to make a baby. Of course, based upon that kind of knowledge that he heard from other people at 7 years old, he will certainly think, oh, no, this is fake. I don't want to believe it. However, if he grows to his age of 80 years old, let's say, if he is truly a man that wants to find the truth, and if he truly look into the mysteries of pregnancy, fertilization, development from fertilized egg to a human body, like what I did, I think he will reach to the same conclusion I'm reaching today. If we today bring 10 Nobel Prize winner, I'm giving you an example. If today, Mr. Shim, you invite 10 Nobel Prize laureate, come to our classroom, and you present that question that you just present to me, and ask them, what do you think? Is it possible for a woman do not have a man's sperm entering into her body? She can be pregnant and give birth to a child. Can that be possibly real? Ask that question. Let's see how the 10 Nobel Prize winner are going to answer that. I guarantee you it's not going to be consensus. It's not going to be everybody say, nonsense. We have data. We have evidence to prove that that's absolutely not possible, okay? I guarantee you that quite a lot of great Nobel Prize winner will answer the way I have answered to you. Because in my answering your question, I do not have any irrationality in my mind. I'm based upon my thorough knowledge of currently what modern science has uncovered. And you know what? What modern science has uncovered today pretty much has proven that what Jesus said, what Lao Tzu said, what Confucius said, all these great teachers said in their spiritual teaching, they are the true science. They are true science. And has no conflict whatsoever with the current discovery of modern science. As a matter of fact, do you know Einstein's theory of relativity? Okay, theory of
yeah,
relativity.
yeah.
Do you know string theory? Modern physics, string theory. Okay? Do you know at this point the most frontier scientists in the modern science field, they all starting to recognize God. Newton, he had faith in God. Einstein, faith in God. Okay? All great scientists, true scientists, they, although they didn't prove the existence of God, but they don't need proof because their mind elevated so high that they enlightened to the truth. Remember in our classroom we had this called 学而知之, 觉而知之. The knowledge can come from learning. The knowledge also can come from enlightening, awakening. So the true knowledge is not from learning. The true knowledge is from 觉, awakening, enlightenment. So the true knowledge in Bible, I'm telling you, in your mind, never think it's fake. Bible is true. The stories in the Bible is true history. It's the history about the Jewish race. It's about the Jewish race people, how they were created, who is their God, what is the moral that their God has set up for the Jewish people to live according to. The entire book of Bible, the reason it passed down so many years, right? Passed down one after another, and so many people still today, when a lot of people already consider modern science, atheism, evolution theory, no creation, still so many people are following diligently of the words in the Bible. As a matter of fact, the Bible has secured the human race not to downslide to below animal and be destroyed too fast, because at time of today, the human race needs to continue to exist to the degree that our Creator teaches the ultimate law of the universe, and mankind still will be able to be saved. So Christianity served a great role in making sure the human civilization didn't get destroyed too fast due to corruption of the morality. Christianity, the teachings of Jesus about what Jesus did when he was on the earth and what he taught to his students, and then how he was persecuted and put onto the cross and died for the people he wanted to save. And then how his students remembered their teacher when he was alive, how he was born, what happened to him, how he taught the truth. When he was encountering persecution, how he dealt with it, with his, upholding truth. And that inspired generations after generations of people in the human world to learn from Jesus' spirit, to uphold the truth, to not going to be corrupt because of power and money. And so the entire Western civilization is built upon Christianity. The very fact is that America, this nation itself, is built upon Christianity. If there is no spirit of Jesus, there is no America. As a matter of fact, so that's why this nation, the president, when they are elected, when they officially, have the opening ceremony, they put their hand on the book of Bible, they are on their knees and they pray to God. In their mind, their God is Jesus, okay? They pray to Jesus for blessings of God bless America. President Trump, right? All the presidents, throughout the American history, Christianity is the cornerstone of this nation. So if someone tells me that, the Virgin Mary story is fake, just based upon the very knowledge that a woman cannot be pregnant without a man's sperm, and therefore we don't believe in Christianity, I think that person truly is very naive and ignorant. Because, if you really understand about pregnancy, it is really about sperm and egg, but the sperm can come from a man and the sperm certainly can be from the creation of a high power. God can create anything instantly. Then you say, like, what do you mean? How do you know? You're a scientist. What are you talking about? A God can create things instantly. Exactly because I'm a scientist, I can speak in such confidence that mind, human mind, one thought from the mind, if you are not a cultivator, if you are just a regular person, every day you're thinking about money, power, woman, those kind of things, your mind comes out very, very weak. The mind disperses, no more. As you cultivate, as you work on your mind, as you work on your heart, as you start to elevate your spirituality, when you think, that one thought is incredible. That one thought is energy. That one thought can change everything. A Qigong master, I just give you an example. A Qigong master in China, Qigong, right? The Qigong master, they exhibit those magic power. Okay, a person can hunchback. The back is hunched like this, right? And this is all recorded, right? The Qigong master, our teacher in Falun Dafa, Mr. Li Hongzhi, early stage of introducing Falun Gong as a form of Qigong to the Chinese general public. Mr. Li Hongzhi basically showed to the general public his ability to treat people with chronic disease, acute disease whatsoever. So for example, one story was about a hunchback like this. And Miss Li Hongzhi, Papa, the person's back, ding, totally normal. Some people were paralyzed, okay, totally paralyzed for many, many years, right? And the husband carried the wife, to Mr. Li Hongzhi, Falun Gong founder, right? And so our teacher just said words, stand up. Stand up. Just stand up. She stood up. Walk. She walked. Run. She run. Okay? You see, just by words, that lady who was paralyzed for years, Mr. Li said, sit up, stand up, walk, run and run. She's totally normal. This is all recorded. This is no myth. Okay? So the stories about how, Master Li healed people of all kinds problems. There was a little child, mentally ill, like a fool, like a dummy, right? He doesn't know who he is, well, cannot speak, right? The mother took the child to meet, Master Li. And Master Li patted on his head. The child is totally normal. Totally normal. Okay. So what I'm saying is that,